Welcome to the Bodhi Academy. My name is Shrutika and today let us continue with the chapter Biodiversity and Conservation. So in today's class what we are going to study is loss of biodiversity, as in how loss of biodiversity is caused. So let us start with today's video. So loss of biodiversity is the biological wealth of our planet has been declined rapidly due to three factors. Okay, so there are three factors which causes the loss of biodiversity, that is population, urbanization and industrialization. The IUCN Red List 2004 documented the extinction of 784 species including 338 vertebrates, 359 invertebrates and 87 plants. In the last 500 years, some examples of recent extinction includes the dodo, uh, quagga, thylacine, stellars, sea cow, and three subspecies of tigers. In last 20 years, 27 species has been disappeared. So, due to population, overpopulation, urbanization, and industrialization, the loss of biodiversity is increasing. So, So in general, loss of biodiversity in a region will lead to a decline in plant population. That is, if the biodiversity of an area decreases, what can happen is there is decline in the plant population, lower resistance to environmental uh, perturbation, droughts and floods, increase variability in ecosystem processes such as productivity, water use, pest and disease cycle. So if biodiversity is declined, it can cause decline in the plant production, then resistance of the environment towards floods and droughts, and also there it will disturb the ecological cycle. So these are some causes of biodiversity, loss of biodiversity. Now we will see some causes of biodiversity losses. First one is human habitat loss and fragmentation. So it is the most important cause of animals and plant extinction. The Amazon rainforest, lungs of the planet, having billions of species, is being cut and cleared for cultivating soybean, or for conservation, or for conversion to grasslands. When large habitats are broken into small fragments due to various human activities, mammals and birds requiring large territories migrate and badly affected. So, habitatal loss and fragmentation is a very important cause of biodiversity loss. Over exploitation. When biological system is overexploited by man for natural resources, it results in degradation and extinction of resources. Example is the stellar sea cow, passenger pigeon, etc. Many marine fish population are over harvested, endangering the continued existence of some important species. Alien species invasion. So when alien species enters internationally or intentionally or unintentionally, some of them turn invasive and cause decline or extinction of indigenous species. The Nile perch induced into Lake Victoria in East Africa e- led to led eventually to the extinction of an ecologically unique assemblage of more than 200 species of cichlid fish in the lake. Invasive weed species like carrot grass, that is Parthenium, Lantana camera, and water hyacinth causes threat to the indigenous species. So, invasive species are those species which invades a certain native place. Okay, which destructs the native species of that region. So they are like weeds that they grow, and they grow at extensive rate, and then what it does is it will destroy the native population of the plants of that area. Then coexistence. When a species become extinct, the plant and the animal species associated with it also extincts. When a host fish species become extinct, its unique assemblage of parasites also becomes extinct. So all the organisms in the ecosystem are interdependent on each other, that we can understand by the food chain. So if one organism from the food chain disappears, eventually there will be a destruction in the ecological cycle, and then it also extincts the other organism. So this is how co-extinction happens. Then biodiversity conservation. We should conserve the biodiversity due to the following group of regions: the narrowly utilitarian. Human obtain countless direct economic benefits from natures like wood, firewood, fibers, construction materials, medicinal plants, and industrial products. With increasing resources put into bioprospecting, nations endowed with rich biodiversity can expect to reap numerous benefits. Then broad utilitarian. Biodiversity plays a major role in ecosystem services that nature provide. So production of oxygen during photosynthesis, pollination without natural pollinators, pleasures from natures are priceless. Ethical. For conserving biodiversity related to what we owe to millions of plants, animals, and microbes, species with whom we share this planet. Every species has an instinct value through, although it may not be of current or any economic value to us. So it is our moral duty to care for their well-being and pass on our biological legacy in good order to future generation. So this is how we can conserve the biodiversity. Then how do we conserve the biodiversity? When whole ecosystem is conserved, all its biodiversity is also protected. There are two ways of conservation of biodiversity. First way is the in situ conservation. Okay, in situ conservation, on site conservation. So conservation have identified for maximum protection certain biodiversity hotspot regions with high level of species richness and high degree of endemisms. Species found in that region are not found anywhere else. There are 34 biodiversity hotspots in the world. These hotspots are also regions of accelerated habitat loss. India has 14 biosphere reserves, 13 national parks, and 448 wildlife sanctuaries. This is about the in situ conservation, that is conservation in the on site, that is in their natural habitat. Ex situ conservation is like you conserve the plants, animals outside their habitat. So in this method, threatened animals and plants are taken out from their natural habitat and placed in special setting when they be protected and given special care. Like zoological parks, botanical gardens, and wildlife safari parks are used for this purpose. Now, gametes of threatened species can be preserved in viable and fertile conditions for long period of time using crop preservation technique. So, what is crop preservation technique? It is a technique wherein it is a freeze drying technique wherein we take the material which we want to conserve and we freeze it in liquid nitrogen at minus 92 degrees Celsius. So eggs can be fertilized in vitro and plants can be propagated using tissue culture method. This is the in vitro method wherein from a single part of the plant we can grow the part in the lab using the culture medium. So this is how we can protect the biodiversity through ex situ conservation. So it is very important to conserve our biodiversity because it is from where we get everything. So these are some steps from this chapter which we can follow to protect and prevent biodiversity loss. So in today's class what we have studied is what is biodiversity, what are the causes of loss of biodiversity, and how to conserve biodiversity. So thank you for watching today's video. Please don't forget to like, comment, share and subscribe to the Bodhi Academy.